If you're an independent filmmaker and you think the most beautiful thing on set is not the girl in front of the camera, but in fact it's the machine that separates between you and the talent, this video is for you. Hello and welcome to another episode of arcDéco CineLab. Today we're going to be talking about the camera system itself and the camera rig around the camera to make your filmmaking process a lot easier and fun for every time you shoot on set. A lot of you who actually know that, making a movie or making a film or shooting a commercial, whatever, camera is only a very small part of that task. All the things that facilitates around it on set, this is only a very, very small part of that universe. However, what's all going to be more important if you're a cinematographer or a camera operator, the camera rig that around the camera system is actually what makes all these things possible at the end of the day. So this is indeed the rig that arcDéco Cinematography uses to film most of our productions with. From the core, this is a RED Scarlet-X DSMC. It has a Mysterium X sensor, which is a 4K sensor. Right from the start, you can see from the camera, this is the camera system that equipped with a remote unit. It's the RED mode unit, which you can actually control all of your camera setting at the back pretty easily. And it just have a quick detach V-lock that can go in and out, just like so. It's going very quickly. We can actually attach this for remote operations if we're shooting the camera on a jib or a car mount and something like that in a production chasing vehicle. You can just pull that unit out and it will still give me feedback for all the camera settings. And of course I have like histograms and all that stuff on there as well. So it's really, really fantastic if you're kind of on the run or shooting something that's a little bit more tricky. Second thing is we have a side SSD module that attached to the camera, which will of course receive RED mag. They are the 1.8 inches proprietary SSD drive that will record all of your media too. And in our studio we have 4 of these for a camera unit. So we can actually shoot throughout the day and have a DIT unit on the side so we can keep offloading footages as we go. Instead of like a lot of people shoot only with 2 cards and they have to kind of constantly, on the task of dumping and shooting at the same time because they can only be shooting with one and dumping the other. But for arcDéco we have 4 of these, so we can actually keep shooting, and sometimes if there's no time or the accessibility for a DIT setup to dump immediately, we always have that option to reserve for it later on. So this is a huge plus if you have more than one SSD card or RAM mag in your kit. That's pretty much cover the whole camera itself. So now let's move on to the rig that goes around it. I think there's a lot of options out there on the market that can build a camera rig pretty efficiently. You can buy a whole rig through Zacuto or Red Rock or from Red themselves, but it's going to cost you a small fortune. And for me, when it comes to building a camera rig, it's not about how much money you actually spend, but how you spend your money smartly. And so that's why we have here a camera rig that I kind of built and tailored to my liking. Which I just spend a little extra time on the internet to research other people's review or on YouTube watching other people's video like this and also kind of look at trade shows to know what new products out there in the market, and I just kind of go a little deeper and find all these parts and build a camera rig that's tailored to my liking. And this here basically is our studio and shoulder rig setup, kind of like hybrid. And the top unit can easily be removed. We're just kind of shooting in studio for a smaller camera package. And we can add on to the top unit with a shoulder pad and all that stuff when we really want to go on to our shoulder operations, and just kind of remove it from the tripod and then we'll be running and gunning. Okay, so let's go around and talk about the cage a little bit. The cage you can see here is really nice, and you might think this is Zacuto, but it is not. This is actually a very great product made by Gini from South Korea. This cage here, there's 4 ribs. They all have quarters warranty mounting holes for your accessories. They have a top and bottom plate that also kind of carry your camera and accessories on top. The side handle and the sides are really great. They have airy rosettes that you can quickly reset for a different angle. You choose to have a different grip setting. This also have a 50mm light rate rod adapter system that just goes to the front of the camera, and 2 50mm light ray system that goes on the top of the cage that comes with the whole package. The top handle itself is actually made by SmallRig. It's a different manufacturer. It's also the red bands is really nice. Also supporting the 50mm light ray hole that goes on the top. and that's kind of a top handle for the camera. If you just want to like kind of do like low shots and stuff like that, that would be fantastic. If not, it's also a great tool for you to just handle the camera on set because you have something to hold onto in the top. And it's rubberized grip, so it's slip proof, it's pretty comfortable, not too bad. Moving forward, there is a follow focus. As you can see here, this is a pretty simple setup. It's fairly cheap. It's actually transferred back from my 5D Mark II days when I was filming on DSLR 2 which of course I still do nowadays. And this is made by CineCity. It's made in India. Follow focus works pretty good. The only thing that I will really wish is I can do a quick detach at the bottom, but this only have one hole which control the tightening of follow focus and shifting position on the 15mm light ray rods. What it is, it's pretty good. They have marking ring that is really easy to look at, and of course I have the marker on top. Also have a hole on the side to receive your speed crank and whip. So again, if you have an AC they want to pull focus with you, they can easily attach those and you'll be good to go. Next thing, this guy is also made by CineCity, which is our matte box. And you can see here it's kind of like a toy. There's a reason for it, because it's light. Sometimes when I'm doing shoulder rig shoot, the full-size studio matte box is just way too heavy, and I prefer something lighter. This is by far the best one I've found so far for a small matte box. Some of them out there, they're just too flimsy and they're really just not that great as far as lighting control and leaking and all that stuff. This is actually pretty nice. It has two side flap and top fringe. Of course, all these are adjustable, so you can change the angle for your shade. It also has a 4x4 filter tray, so you can release it here, right there. It is fixed, however, so it can only go into one position. It doesn't rotate, but that's sort of the problem you're going to be running into if you're running a lightweight matte box. The SmallRig handle up front, it's the same manufacturer of the top handle that you can see on the top. Also have the same kind of nice rubberized grip. You might ask, like, why do I want this on my camera when I have two side handle here already? Well, that is because I can show you very quickly. Let's fly this out real quick. Okay, so if I'm on a shoulder operations and I have this holding here, it's great if I have an AC helping me to full focus and stuff like that, but if I happen to have to full focus sometimes, I have to lose my hand, and I only have my right hand on that side of the camera while this on the left, which is fine most of the time, but sometimes I just want better control. So I actually switch to the center. Now the mast of the camera is actually aligned with my hand, with my holding hand, so I can do maneuver a bit more stable, and yet I can still rack focus at the same time. That will be great if you don't have the luxury to have the first AC to pull focus for you. That is kind of a great option. And also that I should note it, this Gini rig handle here is also great if you want to do focus pull like this, because sometimes you don't want to lose your whole hand when you're pulling focus, and sometimes I just kind of hold on to this with my left hand on the handle, and I'll use my thumb to rotate it. You will see something similar to this on Adachrome. They have a new follow focus system that can do the same thing right now, but this is it's pretty nice. You can kind of switch between the two if you're doing something that a little bit more documentary or ENG, or if you're just kind of really running a gun. That's a great option for you as well. Okay, now so we have the camera docked back into the tripod, and let's talk about the rail itself. You can see here, and also kind of on the top, those are the 15mm rail system that we use. They're also made by CineCity, the Indian company who made my follow focus in the matte box. They are carbon fiber. They're very lightweight, and it can actually sustain a lot of weight. As you can see in the back, we have our batteries on there, we have our counterweight, shoulder pad, and it's holding up pretty well. And also, of course, in the front, you can put lens support on there, and that's fine as well. So that's a great addition if you prefer something that's a little bit lighter to really reduce the weight, because you're shooting on shoulder a lot. Carbon fiber rod is the way to go instead of aluminum. Of course, they're light as well, and it tends to have a bit better compression because they're still, these are great hand style unit. You can stretch and stuff, so sometimes it might flex more than the aluminum, and that is something you might have to watch out for that. But other than that, it's fantastic. It's lightweight, and also it's talking about something that we kind of forgot and also hidden. It's this little guy in there, and you really can't see in the main camera angle, so I'll do an insert shot for this. This is a Olympus ME52. It's a lav mic, If you're on a RED system, you will know that the input mic jack have a really funky balance setting that they wired. By having a Olympus ME52, this actually works off the shelf. They have a mono setting that can just plug in and start recording scratch audio for the camera. That is a great addition, especially if you're doing something that's more documentary or ENG, or even if you just want to have some kind of scratch track to know when you're doing offline edit. That is a great component to have in there as well. And it's also pretty cheap. You can pick it up at B&H, in the store, online, off Amazon. Really easy to kind of get by. Then we can move on to our lens. A little bit of lenses in arcDéco. We have a full set of sights primes, the contact sights, that we have stage-free Cinevice done to it. So what that really means is we have it declicked, so you can actually pull a smooth iris in the back. We have a aluminum 32 pitch or 0.8 mod gear system installed on the lens, and it's not one of those plastic things that you get from like Red Rock and stuff like that you easily kind of detach and you'll lose it during the shoot. We have these calibrated and we put it on the lenses on the barrel, so when we put our follow focus in there, it is accurate at the time, and there's a full rotation so that it doesn't have that silly bump like one of those plastic ring units that you will see. And all of the lenses basically have one of these attached to it, and they're ready to go. It saves you time on set. You can just put the lens on, you're ready to go. You don't have to switch out all the follow focus rings every time and figure out where your stop is going to be and all that stuff. We're good to go with these guys. And this actually is also made by Gini rigs from South Korea. They're kind of pricey. Trust me, it's worth it. And moving forward, we have a CineLab. It's made by cordvision. This is basically an adapter to make all of your lens thread, especially if you have like a set of Zeit, ZF, or EF that you want to adapt to kind of like a common front thread for 77mm. If you have circular filter that you want to install, or you have a 80mm outside diameter for your matte box donut, this is a perfect option for you as well. And all the lenses also have one of this on there. That's why it's stage 3. Stage 1, iris. Stage 2, follow focus, gear. And stage 3 is a common cineframe. So all the lenses are ready to go and they're adapted. It's just going to make your day a little bit easier. You don't have to think about what filter sizes that you may need if you have circular filter instead of 4x4. So that kind of concludes our front of the camera. And now we can start moving up and talk about all these nice toys that go around. And that might be great for you, and also it's going to be great for your AC as well as your client, and you will find out very quickly why. Starting from the top, we have a SmallHD DP4 EVF. On the side of it, I'll go ahead and introduce that guy to you guys as well. This is a SmallHD DP1X. It's a 9-inch film monitor. And the DP4 is really just kind of for the operator, in this case for me. It has a quick flip up option, and you can also flip down for a EVF situation if you need it to kind of just, scope in when you're trying to frame things up, or when you're on a shoulder rig. This is also great because you can just kind of look through it right there. It's a great resolution monitor. Brightness on it is pretty good as well. It's not OLED. They have the AC7, which is OLED, but this is still a very great monitor. And it's also have, it's receive HDMI, but it's also have a HDMI pass-through, so you can actually run the line to DP1X, which is actually currently missing now. But usually I'll just kind of run that over there for a client or first AC full focus. This unit itself runs with 2 Canon LPE6S batteries. So if you're shooting with a DSLR for a Canon like 5D Mark II or Mark III, those are the same battery that you're going to be using, and you can just hot swap those in and out all day. They have 2 of these, so if one is down, you can just kind of pop another one in very quickly and you'll be ready to go again. At the bottom, the linkage here is made by CineCity. These guys. It is a EVF arm, and I've been looking for one of these for a very long time. Wooden camera made one. Frankly, it's a bit expensive. I used to have this mount on the side directly so I can just kind of view into it very quickly. But this makes you, it's really convenient if you want to change angle, if you're shooting at something on top, you can just unlock it, just have a ratchet handle in there, and you can change angle like that. Also the side. so you can really change a lot of viewing the angle of the EVF when you're on the go. And it's also going to make your task so much faster instead of just kind of wiggling those silly arms, which actually what the DP1X is being held at the moment. Those things tends to be losing most of the time when you're shooting. If you have like one of those cheap one that's like 70 bucks or 40 bucks from Amazon. But this really kind of solved the situation. It's just a really nice solution to hold your EVF or any kind of monitoring system, because it's just more integrated to the whole cage unit that a camera is currently operating around. And then I'll also talk about the HDMI cable as well. And well, you might think it is a pretty minor item in a camera rig, but this is pretty nice. It's made by BlueRigger. You can see they're all Teflon coated. It's a really heavy duty HDMI cable, so you can have a really good signal. It doesn't really have interference and stuff like that. And I run 2 of these, so one's run directly to the camera, while the other one runs to my client monitor or first AC monitor. And they're also very, very cheap, which is also a great thing for it. This is a pretty short version, of course, and I have something that's longer when I'm running to the jib or if I have like a remote dolly shot and stuff like that. I will also have that running. It's made by BlueRigger. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, so let's conclude this side of the setup of our monitoring solution. Let's go to this side. As I mentioned earlier, this is a SmallHD DP1X 9-inch film monitor. It's fantastic for the clients. I mean, you have no idea how much clients love these things, or director, because they can just walk around and know exactly what you're shooting, or if they're kind of traveling right next to you, you have your own viewfinding solution, and they have their own monitor, and it's just going to make them happier. It makes a professional setup, and of course, this is probably one of the biggest film monitor for the budget. It's made by SmallHD. It's kind of an older model. You can still pick them up either on eBay or any kind of forum that you're on. People have these around. And it can run by batteries. SmallHD made one that's attached directly to the back. You can also get something off Amazon for like cell phone rechargeable batteries. Those can also run to a 12-volt plug. In my situation here, I'm actually drawing batteries from my mobile camera battery solution here, which is a Sony V-mount battery. And it's just run on our jetpack, which I'm going to talk about that now. It's made by Tilta. Tilta is a company that's in Hong Kong. They're making really, really high quality camera rig product for all of your Sony FX100, C300, Canon DSLR or Nikon DSLR, and of course RED. This is a great solution because it has a RED LEMO connector attached to it, so I can actually run battery to my camera and power my camera up. And it's also have all the power source output. They have VTAP, 12 volt, and have a 5, and I think it's 8. Anything you can plug into it, you can power all that stuff on your rig just by having this jetpack and V-mount batteries. And the V-mount batteries, like any V-mount batteries, it's having the V-mount on it. This is actually made by arcDéco, and they have a battery indicator on the side, and also a D-tap that is actually covered up by a rubber cover, and also a 12-volt output. It's a great solution if you have something that you want to run power off of and you don't have a jetpack. These batteries are pretty great as well. And this is only 89 volt per hour, so it's the smallest one they have. They have something that's have a higher capacity, which you can run your rig a little longer. So now, since we're in the back, we'll go ahead and talk about our shoulder pad and our counterweight. Shoulder pad is made by Lanpante. It's also a company that is based in, I think, either Guangzhou or Shenzhen. A lot of Hong Kong sellers on eBay have these guys. They're also kind of on the mid-high range as far as price, but their shoulder pad is great because they have 2 15mm light rate locking system on there. And a lot of shoulder pads, they're running into a problem if they just have one 15mm light rate mounting position. It's sort of wobble a lot, but when you have 2 on there, it really kind of affects your shoulder pad on your rail system. Same thing goes on to the top mounting bracket here. They also have 2 15mm light rate that's made by Gini, and that's really going to lock your whole shoulder mount in place very nicely. Then we're going to go all the way to the back and talk about counterweight. This little guy is kind of hanging out there, but you'll be amazed how much you'll need this when you're shooting on shoulder, because if you have an unbalanced camera system, it sucks. You're out there shooting all day. This is made by Gini. It's a 3.7 pound weight, and it's sort of just attached very easily through two 15mm lightweight holes. It's only have locking on one side, so sometimes if you're rod on the left side, it's not secure, it might actually slip off. So you just have to watch out for that. But other than that, it goes on there pretty quickly. You can just lock it up. And it's 3.7 pounds. You put it all the way to the back, you can balance your front end pretty well. The armature here is a monitor armature. This is just a generic brand that I pick up at B&H. I mean, there's all of these stuff on the internet you can pick up for very cheap. I mean, Amazon you can pick them for like $15. But this one, it doesn't have a name, and it kind of holds in place okay. But again, if you have something like the monitor holder or monitor support that's made by CineCity or wooden camera, those are just better solution for you to have as far as holding a monitor. And that actually is the end of a video. I think we cover everything of our camera system here. Again, we have this thing figured out in the course of the last 6 months. We've been shooting on this for a while now for a feature film, a lot of commercials, and some short film projects. This is the system that really kind of cater to my liking, and I think you enjoyed as well. And of course, a lot of these are just one way of how to put this rig together. There's a million other ways out there that you can figure this out, but this is kind of like a good core setup that you can go with. This really is the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching, and hopefully this has been a helpful tutorial on how to build your camera rig around a RED or even a DSLR. A lot of these components are highly integratable to other camera system as well. So thank you very much for watching. Again, this is Rex, and you're watching arcDéco CineLab. See you next time.